You have to consider all the things that is different about that, because you usually mind like to generalize things. So mind would generalize, oh, this is like the same kind of situation. Oh my God, I don't want to make the same kind of mistake again. That's the thought process. But you are not the same person. Remember, that's the key thing. You are not the same person who you were back then when you did that. You know, there are all the ways in which that you are different now, but you may not be realizing the ways in which you are different and have changed. Yeah. So you're thinking, oh, it's like the same river. Why am I crossing the same river again? It's just a matter of where you are paying attention to. If you just notice, there's a lot of things that have changed. But it's easy to generalize and think, oh, it's just the same river.
In that moment,
Uh-huh.
I should observe myself, my
Mhm.
thoughts,
Mhm.
and then, oh, yeah, then I see a different human, different action.
Yeah, we are getting into that part actually. Let's start with groundedness. Okay, groundedness is from where you are operating. It's the place of being. How are you being? It's not about what you are doing. It's only concerned about the state of being. Yeah. Now, groundedness gets created as a result of grounding. Get created as a result of grounding in a set of ideas. When you are grounded in a strong set of ideas, then what emerge is, so you can be grounded in all sort of ideas. So someone can be grounded in, oh, I don't know whether this is the right thing to do, and they are going to, that's going to create some sort of a state of being, but not probably the one that's optimal. So the kind of groundedness that we want is grounding in the idea that whatever happens, see, whatever happens, so regardless of the outcome, so that's what whatever happens. So happening is about the outcomes. So regardless of whatever be the outcome, I am okay and I will handle it. Whatever happens, I am okay and I will handle it. Do you guys, can you guys notice the power that comes with it? Just try on. All stuff, when it comes to words, you need to try on. It's like going to a dressing store and trying on a cloth and just see how you feel in it. It's not just about the patterns and the colors. You're like getting to see how you feel when you put it on. How do I feel? Do I feel good about myself? So you need to try on the words and just see how does that feel for me? Do I like the whatever gets created on a sublinguistic level, on a sensation level, as I say these words? Yeah.
For me, for example, it's not the biggest problem. But every now and then I encounter super unconscious people that go like, no, I'm actually not okay.
Mm.
Yes, you are okay, but to me this and this happened, so I'm not okay. And you don't know until you had that situation that you would also know that you're not okay.
Mm.
How do I get more to the core of the people around myself every now and then? And I'm like, I can't really do anything about it. Some situations I will never experience. For example, you will realize that if you were a mom, like, well, I'm never gonna be a mom, so it's kind of, it feels unfair. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's fiction, We this work we can control. How do you approach, or how can you maybe transmit that groundedness towards another person that has thinking, no, I'm not.
Okay. Okay. Is there something also of interest to you? Okay. Okay, then perfect. See, this is like in the moment creation. So that's why we have to always be connected to the why. Then we know. Otherwise, at the end of it, I can just be not even bothering to ask you guys why and can just teach you a bunch of stuff which I feel like useful, it's good. But you guys are like, but I don't know whether that's what I really want. At the end of it, it's good when you start off with the why. So whatever happens, I'm okay and I will handle it. So since I'm going to remove that, I'm just want to say this. So the happen is all about the outcome, and the I am okay is just about you reassuring so that the threat response system can go offline. Remember what we told before. The threat response system, just like the picture of the brain stem and like the three developments, right? The human part of the brain is all about the thinking about the past and the future and stuff. Like dogs are not really sitting and pondering about their past memories and the traumas or something. They don't have that stuff, right? Yeah. It's only us. So this is the part. This is the part that makes us do that stuff. Contrasting, comparing the past, comparing your past to the future, projecting the past fear to the future, and all sort of stuff. It's all happening in the neocortex, like in the front brain. Yeah, the prefrontal lobe. So what we what is happening is whatever is going on up here can easily do what? Can trigger and spook this. So here you can say, I'm okay, whatever happens, I'm okay. Then guess what? This is not gonna get spooked. But you have up here, I'm not okay, I'm not okay. Guess what? This is okay, fuck. I need to be on fight and flight mode, like some sort of real threat. So that's what's happening. Get it? So you want to create this as your natural flow. It's about your semantics inside. You have a semantic repertoire. Semantic repertoire means your natural set of words that you habitually just use in your thinking, in the way you look at things, the way you speak about stuff. It's not like you're speaking like all the words in the dictionary or something, right? You use a certain set of words which becomes your habitual way of descriptions and habitual way of speaking, habitual way of asking questions to yourself, habitual way of orienting yourself, right? You are deliberately bringing this to your semantic repertoire. That's what deliberately bringing that so that it just is there in the mix. Whatever happens, I'm okay and I will handle it. And this I will handle it is so important, guys, because that's speaking about capabilities. That's speaking about your resourcefulness. I will handle it. I will handle. How do you handle it? Because, you know,
I mean, it's actually like self-love, self-esteem.
hmm? Yeah, you can connect it. That's what I'm saying. When I say whatever happens, I'm okay and I will handle it, those are the concepts through which he is making sense of those words. You might be using completely different set of concepts to make sense of it. In a resourceful state, that's good. I don't really care the exact concept. It's up to them. But the sentence is so good, it's a powerful statement. He's going to definitely sort for that kind of powerful concepts. Self-esteem, all these concepts is what I was just thinking about. Just whatever happens, I'm okay to just disalarm the threat response. That's all but he connected with all those concepts. Good for him, right? It's about the concepts through which we make sense of the words. See, it's not the words themselves. That's not doing the trick. See, it's like how you make sense. So the underlying, the meaning, the concepts through which you make. So this is what I want to bring your awareness to about the connection between words and concepts, because this is going to be key when it comes to your self-talk and your how you create stuff within your mind. So the relationship between words and concepts, right? So think of it in this way, yeah. So this is like a iceberg. I could have just done it a little bit more justice to it, but you get the premise, right? It's an iceberg. So this portion is words, yeah. So this portion is concept. Every single word you make sense of it through a concept. So think of it like that. Any iceberg that comes up on top would definitely be having a part below. So that's the part that you don't see. The part that you don't see is the concept. It's the same thing, but it's the portion that you don't see. But that's the bigger chunk, just like the bigger chunk is always the portion that you don't see in the iceberg, right? So think in the iceberg analogy. So now every word has a concept attached to it, but not all concepts have words attached to it. Now this is key because there can be an iceberg that is just way below the level. So the iceberg is there, but you don't necessarily see it. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Okay? It's going to have its influence upon the things whether you know it or not. Just like Titanic went and hit, doesn't matter whether they knew the iceberg was there, still gonna have its yield its influence and wreck the ship, right? So that's the thing. So now what you need to understand is that any given state that you're experiencing is usually having some concepts underneath, but not necessarily you have words for it. But you don't have to. As long as you change the words deliberately, what are you also changing? Concepts. Exactly. So you don't have to go and change the concepts. You just need to change the words and the concept will naturally shift. Okay? So we can deliberately make shift to the self-talk and naturally the concepts will shift. But you were asking about stuff and also, yeah. So I'm going to give an excellent analogy that you can bring to in those kind of situations to people. So this is clear, right? Every word has concepts attached. So you cannot have a word without any concept attached. It simply doesn't work. Yeah.
How to tell when the concept is below the line? You have to make it first visible.
No, you can simply access the feelings. Maybe you don't have particularly any words, but you feel bad. You can see it's not very good. You know when it feels good, right? You know the concept wouldn't be so good because of the general sense of your feeling. So you might not actually have words, but your feelings can give you a sense of what concepts might be you're looking through the situation. This conception usually happens below the level of conscious awareness. So conception happens below the level of conscious awareness. And conception will shape your perception. So that's usually the point from where you participate in the events. You're coming up from the perception place. From that place, you're coming to the picture. You're like, oh, that's how it is. But you don't really see the concept with which acts like a lens, with which you're looking, which shape what you have seen. Okay. An example would be, let's just say a guy, he comes and just shouts at me, said a lot of foul words. Now I'm just feeling bad, thinking like it's unfair. I have never been bad to anyone, been such a nice person, trying to help everyone, and then this is happening. Oh, why, God, why? Or I can be like, so now I'm looking at it through the lens of victimhood, right? let's just say that's the unfairness. Let's just say that's the lens there. I'm like, unfairness is the lens. I'm looking at it through the unfairness, and then I'm like seeing all this stuff. Or I can change the concept. I'm looking at it. Okay, that's a person who lacks love, who haven't really been cared for, who doesn't really understand how it feels. I mean, clearly they're not feeling good. Otherwise, they wouldn't be just going around doing this stuff to everyone. So I can be like, oh, what's wrong with them? And I can be genuinely concerned. Or I can make it about me. Oh, it's so unfair. Like, how could you do that to me? See? Now both are different ways of looking at the same event, both shaped by different concepts. One is looking at it through the lens of unfairness. Let's just say the other is compassion or lack of love or something like that. Yeah, makes sense? So that's what we are speaking about. Just by changing the concept, you have a change of perception. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The thing is, when you change the word, you naturally change what? Concept. And when the concept change, the perception change. That's what we are going to.
Constant communication, this is
Mm.
the other word,
Mm-hmm.
and then that the consequence, that's the concept, and then the perception.
Yeah, perception meaning. So let's just say you already have a perception at that point, right? With that, because usually conception and perception happens below the level of conscious awareness. So it's already present. By the time you are catching up, it's already happened in a split second. You already have it with you. What you are doing is you are going and changing the words. The concepts change. Once the concept change, the perception naturally has to shift because concept is a lens. That's from where things begin. Conception leads to perception. That's the relationship. Perception gets shaped by the concept through which you are looking at it. And you can deliberately shift the concept by simply changing the words. So you don't have to go and change the concepts. So simply change the words around it. Or you ask a question to change the perception. The question would be, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. When you are stuck in the way you are looking at the situation, usually there is no shift of emotion possible because the underlying structure of emotion is conception leads to perception leads to being. Do you get it? Perception leads to state of being. So the being is where emotion we are speaking about. All emotions are states of being. You're being happy, you're being sad, you're being elated, being joyful, being peaceful, right? So it's all state of being. So state of being gets shaped by the perception. So do you guys understand how the link goes? So the first conception like a lens, and the lens will do what? That's the purpose. So the way what you have seen. What you are seeing is already the result of a modification through the lens. Once you have a way of seeing the situation, that's from where your emotion is emerging from. If the way you're looking at it is okay, this is unfair, probably you're going to be feeling bad or frustrated, angry, depends on the context with the other elements of the picture. But you get it. So this is perception is point of view. The point of view in which you're looking at the situation. That's perception. And that brings you to being, right? Now, being leads you to doing, meaning, if I am being frustrated as a result of seeing the situation in one particular way, my whatever I'm going to be doing is going to be coming from a place of frustration. So the doing emerge from the place of being. So the doing is always an emergence. So you are not doing things simply. Just emerge from the place of being, right? And from doing, you now have result having. You do something, you do work out, you have a nice body. See, you do a lot of work, you make money, you now can enjoy, reap the benefits of it. Whatever you do, it eventually builds up into the things that you have. Yeah. So now, essentially, you cannot having is what the result. You get it? Having is the result. So if you are not happy with the result that you are having, you need to. Usually, people try to go and do what? Change what they do. But that's not going to get them anywhere because they cannot simply change what they do because they have to fundamentally shift how they are being because that's from where. No matter what my intentions are, if I'm really frustrated, I'm not going to be engaging with the situation optimally, right? So it doesn't matter. I'm not focusing on what I want to do is not the strategy. So the strategy is going back not to being either because you cannot change the state of being unless there is a fundamental shift in the way you are looking at that situation. Correct? So the perception, unless there is a shift in perception, there is not going to be a shift in the state of being. And unless there is a fundamental shift in being, there is not going to be a shift in whatever you are going to be doing in those situations. And unless there is some shift in doing, there is not going to be any sort of shift in the kind of results you are getting as a result. So you also cannot change the perception unless you go and change concepts. And you can simply change the concept by doing what? Changing the words. So that's why words become really key. And I can use words in connection with it. Like for example, I said, whatever I'm whatever happens, I'm okay and I will handle it. Right? Now, let's just say I add another sentence in front of it. I am choosing to believe this to be the truth of who I am and how I am. I'm choosing to ground myself in those words as the truth of how I am. So now I'm adding in something like that. See? So I don't care what is the real truth. I'm choosing this to ground myself in because I have already made it clear whatever happens, I can lose, I can win, whatever happens, I'm okay. So I'm not when I'm not attached to the outcome. See, when do you really play the game at the best? When you are completely concerned and wrapped up around how it's so important for you to win the match. Yeah. What if it's going to be so terrible if I don't win the match? So the more attached you are to the outcome, the less you are going to be in the flow state because you are not present, because you're there in the future. You're concerned about the outcome. So attachment to the outcome need to be let go in order for you to truly enjoy the play. Because you're right and you're doing things in order to also enjoy. If it's a drag and you're struggling and suffering through it, what's the point of even doing it? Yeah.
Yeah, it makes everything sense what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thoughts coming up, okay, you made it to an like this,
Mm-hmm.
not like that.
Mm-hmm. No, no, no. I did this because remember. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm speaking about.
Okay, okay, okay.
So I didn't live my life like that.
Yeah.
Then now I think, okay, like I have enough. Okay, how to be now in that state? Yeah, I'm good. Everything's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are going to get into the ways in which you are going to do it. The how. Remember, we explained the why, the what. That's why the organization, the brain loss organization, right? Yeah. So we're gonna.
Could you please give me another word for conception? Makes me so confused. Like
No, concept is idea. What is your native language? German. Brother, do you know the German exact word for conception?
Yeah. Then,
But I will tell you the correlation. Perception is a concept. Perception is an idea. Get it? Conception means idea. Perception is an idea.
it's very similar.
It's very similar, but it's a nuance. You know, that makes all the difference. Yeah.
So, what
No, I still haven't answered your question actually.
I
So
can just see it here
you can see it here,
a little bit.
but you can. There is a far more easier way to do it. Yeah, yeah. Because when with people, let's just say. So the question is, with you both of you guys want to know what to do when people are saying, "But I am not okay." Okay, now when people usually say, "I'm not okay," you probably want to ask them according to who, because they never specify that, and according to what criteria are they not okay? Because usually they never really have a criteria either to which through which they evaluate this stuff. They just simply, I'm not okay. But how are you know? How do you know that you're not okay, right? You need criteria.
Yeah, then I'm gonna let's make a role model about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I cannot do that. I cannot earn money. I need to stay at home because
Mm-hmm.
of my wife. I need to
Uh-huh.
take care about my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like how
Mm-hmm.
that's I'm not okay.
And you'll say I'm not okay. I would be asking first, how are you not okay? How do you know when you're being not okay?
You're not good. I feel bad.
Now, let's just say in this moment, if you're not okay, how is it? What is it that lets you know that I'm not okay right now?
Right now.
Yeah. What is it? If usually just you, probably there's not many moments of
Yeah.
not not okay moments, right? You can just revisit. How do you really know? What lets you know? Because there's something that lets you know, oh, this is happening,
Of course,
right?
there's no scale, so I can measure that.
Exactly, exactly. So that's why I said the brain usually generalize. That's what brain likes to generalize. Oh, I'm sad. You're like, oh, sad? Just sad? Like, how sad? Is it like more sad or less sad? How intense or how? Is it like what kind of sadness is the sadness? So there's so many things, but usually people never say. People say I'm sad, and we usually never bother to further question anything. And we're like, oh, that's sad. Usually we don't ask questions, and then it's easy for people to just, how are you being sad when you are sad? People don't know answer to these kind of questions because they never really have thought about it. It's just talk stuff. It's just talk stuff that's already there. They have heard the stuff before. They have already used it before. Now at this point, they just say it. It's just a habit. They feel bad. They just say I'm sad. They feel bad. They will say I'm not okay. Just have.
Do you have feel? Okay.
Hmm.
So okay, I know. Like
Mhm.
this could work, let's say with the depression. Like
Mhm.
when you ask these questions, what the people usually will do is like, oh, you're not taking me seriously. Like,
Mhm.
is there any way of kind of like, well, as long as they want to be and believe that, is there any way of like punching them literally, hey, look at what you're
Yeah,
doing?
yeah. I will just asking them fundamentally the fact that I'm having a conversation with them right there. It's happening now. That means they have handled it. Whatever stuff has showed up in their life. Otherwise, they wouldn't be alive showing up in front of me right there. The fact that they're saying, oh, I cannot handle it, I'm not okay, I cannot handle it, it's a lie. It's a lie. They've just been falling for this idea for so long and they don't really see, actually, you know what? I've been handling stuff. Guess how am I here? Because I didn't handle anything? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want to make them pay attention to the strength that they brought to the table. that allowed them to handle the situation however they managed to handle it. There is no criteria as to perfect handling or something. They are thinking in those terms. You get it? They're thinking in those terms. Oh, I didn't really handle it well. According to who you didn't really handle it well? There's some sort of rule. Is there a rule in the universe that says it should be handled like so, and otherwise you are not okay? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm. Related to that? Mm. No, actually, with a child, it's going to be so much more easier because you don't have to recondition. There, I can teach from the get-go properly. Because usually we learn in a certain way. It's not these things we have properly gotten education on a school level, right? We are like already like freaking 20 to 30 years old, and now we have to figure it out because our school system and education system didn't think this was necessary. And all of the education system is preparing people for career while we don't even give them basic education about money and how it works. And people are fooling the system and making money, whereas poor people, they are like working hard and paying taxes, whereas other people, they're just freaking fooling the system. They're just taking loans and they're skipping the tax. There's all sort of ways, write off all sort of stuff you can do. And that's the whole thing that Robert Kiyosaki guys, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's like money is debt, and so rich people are not afraid of debt, and the poor people are afraid of debt. They think, oh, being in debt means, oh my God, that's the most dangerous thing. So they try to save money. But why are you saving money when you can create it? And plus, the value of it is depreciating anyway. So there is no point in actually saving it because it's not going to be worth much. But the government and the banks still encourage you to save money. Is it because it's going to serve them? No, it's only serving them because you put your money $100 in the bank. That $100 is going to be lent to 10 people, and you get like some maybe measly 1% interest or something. You're fooling, getting fooled. The system is rigged. It's fractional system. They are giving money that doesn't even exist and getting tax, getting interest for stuff. Yeah, exactly. So we don't really get taught that either. Okay, the way to play the game is make debt. That's okay, as long as to invest in creating some income source, either asset that's going to bring money. And you only have to pay money when you actually make money. You do that with this kind of arbitrage with so many real estate, so many do that flipping houses and stuff. Now you have a fucking business in no time. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, the question was about the child getting into. So I was telling that there's a lot of stuff that we are not really given proper education from the get go. That's why people end up with a huge debt after college education, and they're like they cannot create much with it because they're already in a debt. But they will. You get the whole thing is not. They don't really get a proper education on how money works. They work for money instead of making money work for them. Like the Rockefeller, who actually created the education system, his famous quote was, I would rather be happy with 1% of everyone's hard work rather than 100% of my hard work. Because he freaking knew it's the math. You know? 1,000 people work for you, you get 1% from everyone's work effort. That's a ton of money rather than getting 100% of my own effort. But we are, and also he said, I don't really want a generation of thinkers. I want a generation of workers. Very simple. Very simple. So there is no, we are not getting this education, and I don't really know why, but it should be basic education. It should be. If I were to have education system reformed in my own way, I would make sure these are the kind of things that we actually get into. Because with children, it's easy to mold their mind without you having to be in one way and having to have to kind of get you out of that way and get into anywhere. So yeah, the system we what we have as a result in the world is also the influence of the system and everything. On that note, there is something that is a disease, that's hierarchical thinking. We think in hierarchy, and we are at the top of the hierarchy. Yeah, yeah. We have a concept of the world. We have a concept of where we are in the scope of things, and we are at the top. And it's evident from the way we treat everything else. Animals can be food. We can be just enjoying the taste buds, but you don't really feel humans like that. So no, they are more important. Then we say animals eat animals, but animals don't do a lot of stuff too. But we don't really try to imitate all that. But when it comes to eating stuff, we just do whatever. It's okay for animals dying. Or, well, we call it bacon instead of pig flesh. It's nicer. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Question about? Hmm? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and exactly, and they don't want you to do something either. That's the thing. That's the key point here that you guys have to become aware. A person needs to want the change. You cannot trick them into changing. They're not gonna take that. And it's better off because then you also try to start meddling in all over the place. You're lacking perspective at that point because you're like, okay, what is it really important to me? Because then your energy is all getting scattered into all over the place. You're making everyone's business yours and their problem yours to sort out. And okay, what is it that I want to create? Like only limited amount of energy and time, all of these kind of stuff. How to put it into perspective, connect to your human brain, connect to your vision, to your purpose. Does what I do really align with me getting there? That's the key question. Or am I just randomly doing this and that so that, okay, where does this fit what I'm doing with where I want to go? If it doesn't really fit in, then it's not probably even related. It's just you going on a tangent of its own. Probably a conflict of values. Some values are not getting met by you pursuing that. So then it's more of a deeper look into, okay, what is it that I really value? How do I really want to be? So just connecting to these things might have a clarity on like, why am I doing these things? Remember the first thing we started off the training with the why, the motivation. If you're helping people like that, you need to have a strong why yourself. It cannot be just for fun or just for the sake. Oh yeah, no, like to just help a person, like a nice person. No, you need to have a strong motivation. Why am I doing this? Why am I really doing this? And whatever mind answers, if you don't have a clear physiological response, ask your mind, is there any other reason why I'm doing this? Because sometimes it's just to, I don't know, to deal with your own insecurity. You're helping someone. It has nothing to do with the other person. And that's when someone is always, are you really, is this for me or is this for you, really? Yeah. Mm.
say brothers, sisters, whatever.
Mm.
And they kind so it feels a little bit like you want to open their eyes because you saw for yourself that, I don't know, going down, let's say, a way of not being a victim has changed you so dramatically. So all you want to do is open their eyes to be a fucking victim. I don't want to tell them what their way is. It's just I know the person is a victim. So that is often when maybe it's even wrong because maybe there is a time or it never comes where they stop being a victim. But I always ask myself, is there something that I can trigger just something where they start seeing it like slightly different or just open to that concept of maybe the world is not against me.
Okay, there is a portion that I was setting up for the third day's training, but you guys are like pushing it. So shall I just bring it up now?
Sure.
Yeah, it's about the communication bit of it. When you want to do this kind of stuff, the first and foremost, if you want to really help someone in any sort of context, it's about your state of being. So if you are like wanting to do something there, you're thinking of, oh, what can I do to help them? You are thinking. You're not really there. You're not present. You're thinking actually. What you really want is that person needs to open up to you. And they wouldn't open up if you just simply ask them, oh, why do you have this problem? This is why I have this problem. I will tell you. They're not going to tell you like that, right? They get pissed off. They're like, why am I even bothering telling this? Leave me alone, please. Or something like that, right? Okay, oh, sorry. Usually, you don't want to add any kind of judgment, any kind of attempt of you wanting to change them. It's all going to be triggering. They're not going to like it. They don't want you changing them. That's not what, and they don't want to see them as a victim either. So you telling, don't be a victim is not gonna work. Yeah. That's just don't try to think that or something like that. Of course, you're gonna think that the moment I say the don't try is redundant. The point is, with these kind of people, what you want to bring in is an element of curiosity. Whatever problem they are sharing with you, you want to bring about really genuine curiosity to that. And the attitude, this is a key element, okay? The way that you're looking at that person is like this way. You're looking at them and it's like, this is an amazing person, right? How could such an incredible person have a problem like this? No, you're not saying that. Thinking, just the way, the perception, the way you're perceiving the person is like they are such an incredible, amazing person. How could they even be having this problem? It's ridiculous. They shouldn't even be having this problem. So then, you, and then you bring in this curiosity. You're like, so they are telling you, hey, this is my problem. And you're like, really? How? You see, and you're even, do you notice?
Yeah.
Do you notice the way I said the how? In disbelief. I'm like, how? How is it even? Oh, baby, why are you just? Can't you just leave it through here? Most unusual way to pass hot coffee. I don't even understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just real.
Mm.
That is a reason why it's so easy to do that with strangers because you don't know them. And when your own family, you have all the concepts.
No, 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 no. You can still do it.
You can still do it, but it's so much harder.
It's not harder. Well, if you have that in your semantic repertoire, it's just hard with me. Because how you're gonna be showing up?
At least now, let's say like a sister that I grew up with for 18 years. It takes me, for me personally, it takes me longer to strip away all the labels and all the concepts that I had about her instead of just you. I could be curious. I don't know anything about her. about my sister, I truly don't know anything.
But you can still make that shift in the voice. That's so not even like that. It's total disbelief. Like you're just even curiosity is brimming. You're like, no, it's impossible. This is not possible. How can this be? This person, I just know how amazing they are. This is not possible. So we are like, literally, you're like, really? How? This problem. But then they will be wanting to share because that's the thing with curiosity. If you're really genuinely curious about someone or someone's problem, then they're like gonna be like, you know what? I want to tell all about it. But guess you're like, my God, why are you just playing this victim role? You think they want to share? Oh, let me just tell you all about my such a victim. The curiosity, because I told you, curiosity is releases dopamine. You being curious naturally opens a person up because curiosity has a curiosity just simply opens people up. Judgment closes them down. So you bring any sort of judgment, any sort of they can even sense that or they kind of judge you, actually. But you saying like, really? How? How is that? How do you have that problem? And you use that voice, and they're like, they're questioning. Then they sound like, supposed to have this problem or something? Is there something I'm not seeing about myself? You understand? They start to question themselves and in relation to their problem. Yeah, bro.
I like that math what you say,
Hmm?
but I would say curiosity is already like a skill
Mm-hmm.
that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Before you have to accept.
Mm.
You have to accept yourself, you have to accept another person
Mm-hmm.
in a neutral way.
Yeah.
And then you can be curious.
Yeah, you genuinely have to be seeing them that they are an interesting person and they are amazing, and it's just
Strip away.
yeah, but it just comes. It's the setup, the makeup comes to you after a few times of doing it. Then you are like, oh, it just becomes like second nature. This is what you need to remember about practice. Okay, no, okay. Yes. Think about it. This is what I'm talking about organization, brother. You want it all organized in a nice way. So then practice makes unnatural natural. First it's unnatural as you start doing it. After some time of practicing with it, then it's natural. You need to connect. It's about the concept. You can think of practice in a different way. And you think about practice and you already feel like, oh, practice, I hate practice. But this is cool. Oh, it's unnatural. And I was like, yeah, because it's unnatural as you start to do whatever it is that's new, right? And given you start doing it for some time, you wouldn't even have to think about it. You probably can do even other stuff while you are doing it. So that's the thing, the practice. So just have to do it a few times, and as soon as the brain gets familiarized with the yeah, easy.
So it means in general that what came to my mind,
Uh-huh.
I need to make my life, my
Mm.
world, um, like I'm building like a playground for
Mm.
myself, and I'm practicing to be like a natural. My behavior should be natural.
Mhm. No, you are looking at the results. So when you are playing a game, even though you are not attached to the outcome, you can play effectively within the game to create better results. Game.
Yeah, I imagine now I will go to with my family,
Yeah.
which I know we have in the past some troubles because
Mm-hmm.
they are like all different. I would say that
Mm-hmm.
now they don't want change. So I need to see like my mom, she's very sick, she's eating shit, my
Mm-hmm.
father, they're all taking care of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that means I'm sitting there for 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot judge.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
cannot judge.
Yeah.
I should be curious.
Yeah.
I should accept everything.
No, again, the semantics. Do you notice the semantics? Should. I should. No. Say, I choose. Do you notice the difference? I'm choosing to be curious about them. Not I should be curious about them. Not I should. Did you notice that shift? The breathing just changed. Notice things. This is gonna help you when you're speaking with people. Also, you need to notice how breathing shift. That's like the first unconscious kind of thing, telltale or something. In the breathing shift, like they will take a deep breath, or like a dropping of the shoulders, or like the face becomes more relaxed, like a more placid, and or the entire body kind of becomes still for a moment without much movement. Something, or they just have a nice smile, just slowly coming up. Something will happen. So you need to start paying attention. The language, as you speak, it's not about getting response. It's about what your speech evoke within the list, what's happened within them as you are. Not just speaking and just looking for what they are just responding. As you speak, you are noticing, paying attention to their body. Is it really sitting? Is it landing? Any of what I'm saying? Usually people just speak because their concern is about just sharing what is in their mind. They are unconcerned about how the experience within the listener is. They're more concerned about getting their point across. As long as that's done, they're happy. Even though it comes at the cost of pissing them off, no matter what outcome comes, they don't care. I should get my point across. So the should, you should completely take that out. It's a poor semantic hygiene. It's not a good hygiene for semantic repertoire. Should and also must. Remove that. Should, must. These words need not be there. You replace that with choose. I choose. So instead of you should not be judging your family, it's going to be I choose to not judge them. I choose to be curious about them. And I commit to that. Understand the words. See how it changes inside as you speak. Changes, right? Like, oh, I should be not judging. I should be not. What kind of ground of being? Probably like a frustrated, to want to say something and to just react, like somehow holding back. Really want to say something about it. But this is different. And you're saying, I love that I commit to it. You're building a relationship to the commitment you're making to what you choose to stand for. So it's about changing the word. You see how that can actually change? Because mind is not going to come and fight. I choose to be curious about them. No, that's not true. It's not a statement of true or not true. It's about a statement about future. I'm just choosing this. Mind cannot fight that. That's the thing. I should not be judging them. Mind will be like, oh, can you? Can you really?
Actually, like something like I should smoke.
Mm. And I love my commitment to not smoking. Oh, like that's careful. That's important because that's relationship. So you can change things on three levels. You can change things on a content level. You can shift things on a content level, or you can change things on a structure level, or you can change things on a relationship level. See, and the most deepest of it is going to be the change that happens on the level of relationship. So if you can fundamentally shift the way you relate, the relationship you have with family, that changes everything, changes the whole game altogether. Make sense, guys?
But I say to him, hey,
Mm.
and you would like to change? And then I said, yeah, I'd love to commit.
Mm.
Be in love with your commitment.
Mm. as long as he wants to change. The thing is why. Everything starts with why. Unless a person is how the system function. So you need to connect someone to. So you need to ask them. First of all, they need to want the change. If someone is obese, they need to want the change. You cannot tell them, hey, you are obese, you need to change it. That's gonna just ruin the relationship you have with that guy. It's gonna be like, why can't he just accept me for who I am? Like, why does he want me to be different? Then only he can be friends with me or something. Like, you need all sort of other stuff. If you want them to change, and it's not even they want to change, you are like, no, you need to change because otherwise I'm not okay. So there is a rule there. There's a hidden rule there. They should change or something like that. Or when I give them some pointers, they should take it and make changes. Yeah. Yeah, because you have an unconscious rule. Yeah. And then again, you are not actually connecting whatever you're trying to do there with your long-term vision and goal. Okay, how is this really taking me to where I want to go? The life that I want. Yeah. Mm. 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 Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. And the thing is, nobody wants you to be pushing change on them. People don't like that. Someone, someone, yeah, because everybody want to be accepted for how they are, and if you can only accept them or treat them nice if they change, then what does that? There's no unconditional acceptance or anything. Just based on this thing that okay, I will change, and I guess then we can make it work. Otherwise, forget it. Mm. 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 Mhm. Mhm. Intervene. When can you intervene? When the wanting to help is not really for yourself. If it's coming because you feel better if you do that, it's not really because it's not for them. It's coming from you. It's still about you. It's about you feeling good about yourself or something. If you can make that change happen, then you're going to be feeling better about you as a person, and you're like, okay, why are they not changing? Because you want them to change because then only you get to have that. Then you're getting frustrated. You're like, oh my god, why are they doing it? How many times do I have to come back to this again? But then again, you really want to connect to the why. Why do I want them to change? See, what's the motivation? Why do I want them to change? And mind will say some answer, but you need to probe further. Ask, okay, is there any other reason why I want them to change? Is it because my life will be better? They will change, or is there something? Just really look deeper. Mhm, mhm. Yeah. Which is it? Like the. Mhm. No, that's the thing. Usually, it just they have to come to that place of wanting the change. They have seen, oh my God, this is not helping me.
No, I
I
understand that.
really,
But the difference are,
yeah,
like, I'm the guy who wants to help,
mm,
okay?
yeah.
Without any, that he said
It's
to
going
me,
to be very difficult.
I know why, actually. What happens if no one wants to help? But like,
What you can really do best is ally their strength, because probably they are not allying with their own strengths either. You're probing, so it's coming out. There's not necessarily, I might have moved on to kind of so many other stuff. That's why I said, it's for me, it's about having options and choices. I wouldn't, if I have one strategy to deal with the situation, I wouldn't see myself as in being in a strong position. I would rather be happy if I have five or six different choices to maneuver in relation to that. I'm not, if one is not working, I'm gonna just jump into another. I'm gonna jump into another. I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's not working. I'm not gonna just push that further and get it. Well, what are you doing? No, you need. That's why I say nothing works all the time.